What's up, booktube? Welcome back. My name is Laura if you're new here, and today I'm coming at you with a review of One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. First of all, I want to give a huge thank you to Macmillon Audio and Netgalley for giving me an audio arc of this book. I cannot believe that I got approved for it. I literally made my account on Netgalley like a couple of days ago. I put in a request for this book thinking that there was not a hope in hell that I would get a yes, but then I did, and now here we are. 2 days later, and I've already flown through this book and loved every second of it, but now I'm getting ahead of myself here. So One Last Stop comes out on June 1st. It follows our main character named August, who is a woman in her mid-20s who has spent most of her life on the run, terrified of putting down roots and making a home for herself. She spent most of her life being friendless and had very little family. It was really just her and her mother for her entire life, and now she is terrified of having a family of her own. August ends up moving to New York City with a couple of really quirky but lovable roommates who she doesn't think that she'll get along with that well, but they end up becoming a beautiful, tight-knit found family, which you all know I am so here for. I love found families. As August starts to settle into her life in New York City, she develops her kind of daily routine, which involves a trip on the Q train pretty much every day. She keeps running into basically my dream girl. She meets Jane, who is this short-haired punk rock, leather jacket wearing Asian American lesbian who just has this infectious smile and knows how to make people feel good for the couple of minutes that they're on the train together. Jane and August have this instant connection, and they keep running into each other on the same train every single day, and eventually August starts to realize that something is not quite right. Jane is not actually from here. She is from the 1970s, and she got stuck in a blip in time and has been unable to leave the subway for over 40 years. So Jane and August start spending more time together trying to figure out how this is even possible and how she got here. And of course, along the way, they end up falling in love with each other and things go from there. And it is complicated. I adored this book so much. I gave it a full 5 stars. This book deserves nothing less than 5 stars. I loved every second of it. It was truly amazing. I wrote in my review that One Last Stop is a celebration of what it means to be queer, and I really mean that. I love the plot of this book. It was really fascinating, and I did worry at first that a lot of the time travel parts would just go right over my head. I don't even want to begin to imagine how complicated it was for Casey McQuiston to try and write this book and figure out the logistics of it. It did end up not being confusing at all. It was very easy to follow along. But as much as I love the plot, it was really the characters that just took over the whole heart and soul of this book and just made it so incredible. Every single character in this book is so important, and they all make up this beautiful mosaic of what it looks like to be queer. And it was beautiful. Every character is so different, but they're all kind of the same in all the ways that matter. And it was really just this testament to what it's like to be queer and to have this community. When August first meets everybody, she has nobody. She has no friends, no family, but they just adopt her essentially. They just welcome her into their family with open arms, no questions asked. She just becomes one of them. This book was really just a reminder of my favorite thing about being part of the queer community, and that is that we're all one big family. It doesn't matter who you are, where you've come from. If you are queer, you have a family, and they're willing to accept you and take you in at a moment's notice. And that was what this book was August and Jane both finding their family within this community and the friends they made. They all loved each other so fiercely, and it was really just a beautiful thing to read. I really don't have words to explain how much I enjoyed this book and how it made me feel as a queer person reading this. As somebody who doesn't really have that community right now, I'm living somewhere where I don't have a lot of queer friends anymore. So for me, I understand August at the beginning of this book so perfectly because it's so relatable of having this sense of longing but not knowing how to find it. It was so well done, and I really just don't have the words to articulate that, to be honest. But this book really just wove its way right into my heart and pulled at my heartstrings so hard. I loved it. The writing was also incredible. I loved Red, White, and Royal Blue, but I actually liked the author's writing style better in this one. I found that it was a lot more flowery, which I personally really enjoy. It was very descriptive, very poetic and lyrical, and just stunning. It was truly stunning, which really helped with the atmosphere as well. August moves to New York, and she is getting to know the city, and it really felt like I was getting to know the city with her. The writing style just painted this really vivid image in my head of everything that she was seeing and smelling and tasting and hearing, and it was wonderful. I especially love the scenes that took place in the subway, which a lot of this book did because Jane was literally stuck there. She can't leave the subway. Casey McQuiston's writing just made me feel like I was a passenger on that subway car, just watching these two characters fall in love with each other every single day. The writing was already incredible in Red, White, and Royal Blue, but it got even better in this one. It was beautiful, especially the romance. Casey McQuiston writes romance so well. The steamy scenes, like, wow, they were good. Everything in this book was just done so impeccably well, and I'm beyond impressed with this book. I'm just in love. If you can't tell, I'm just a gushing mess over this book. I really enjoyed it. I also really appreciated learning more about Jane as a character. She was a big part of the LGBTQ+ activist movement in the 70s, and we got to learn little bits of her own history throughout this book as well. Not like too much, but there was some mentions of it there, which was just so nice to see our history mixed in with this beautiful celebration of queerness. This book is truly just the perfect book to kick off Pride Month. I really can't recommend it enough. I thoroughly enjoyed this book and will be thinking about it for years to come. I will definitely be rereading it at some point. It just made me all warm and fuzzy inside, and we know that I love a good found family, and this one really did not disappoint. So to recap, full 5 stars. This book went directly to my favorite shelf. I loved every single second of it, and once again, thank you so much to NetGalley for giving me an arc of this book. I'm just blown away that I got to read this book early and just beyond grateful. But that'll do it for today's video. If you have read this book or plan to, let me know down in the comments. And if you're not planning to, you should read this book. It is amazing. You will not regret it, especially if you're queer. Just read it. Your life will be changed. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are in the world, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!